All right, let's get that third and final calibration done. To start with, make sure you put our 44, the jumper, back in the circuit. Make sure that's done, and make sure that you have your signal generator putting through, the one kilohertz 0 dB signal back in. So I'm going to turn mine on. There we go. And what else? Okay, first of all, let's start with setting the meter. Put it in gain reduction, and go in here and zero the meter out. Zero the meter. Get it as close as you can. Okay, so I've zeroed the meter, and now that that's done, I'm going to put it in +4 mode. Okay, in VU mode. Ratio is 20:1. Now this part is important, so pay attention to this part. All right. For this calibration step, it's important, and I can't stress this enough, that you crank up your input. Okay, I crank it up to 12, at least to 12, between on the dial, at least between 12 and the next dot, so somewhere in between there. And watching the VU meter over here, okay, I have that 1 kilohertz 0 dB signal being fed into the unit. So I'm going to crank this up. I'm going to crank up the output until it shows 0 dB. Right? Remember, this is with gain reduction is off on the switch, right? So we get about 0. Sometimes it's easier to get down on the ground. And okay, so so it's about 0, right? So I'm going to turn gain reduction on, and I want to see that it drops 10 dB. So then you got to tweak this a little bit, mess around with the knobs to see if you're going to get a 10 dB drop. At this point, I try to adjust the output to knock it down a little bit, then bring it back up. Try cranking up the input a little bit more, and tweak the output. Let's get it back up to 0. So pretty darn close. 0 on the meter. Can be a little hot. And then gain reduction on, it's slamming that signal down by 10 dB. Notice the placement, or notice the position of the knobs on the front. The output cranked up really hot, and the input cranked up really hot. The output, was only a little ways up. Just pay attention to that. All right, so now that we've done that, so now that we get this flipping back and forth between 0 and 10, all right, so we know that the front is showing the 10 dB decrease, the 10 dB of compression. We're going to put it in meter mode, or gain reduction mode. We're going to do the same thing on the inside. And so don't touch the front panel at all at this point. So now we're going to go in and we're going to adjust the tracking adjust trimmer, and we're going to switch gain reduction off. Okay, so you can see it's falling too much, right? So we're going to change it till it comes back up to -10. All right, so I'm going to crank it up a little bit. So there's about -10. Switch it back to gain reduction. Now, at this point, it's back to the front of the meter again. Don't touch the knobs, but you're going to touch this adjustment. You're going to crank it back to 0. Turn the attack on again, and we're going to keep adjusting this till it starts. Oops. Keep adjusting until it shows -10 when it's on. I'm going to go a little bit beyond 10, turn it off. We're going to get closer this time, bring it back to 0, a little past it. Turn gain reduction on. We're getting close. Back and forth. Turn reduction off. Wow, we're real close. Crank it up just a little bit. Turn gain reduction on. We're really close. Turn gain reduction off, 0. And this unit has been on for a couple of hours, and you really want to let this thing warm up before doing any of the calibrations, but this one especially. So zeroing the meter a little more, turn gain reduction on. There you go. So the internal, when it's in gain reduction mode, we're doing the internal trimmer adjustment, and gain reduction off, it sits perfectly at 0. With gain reduction on, it's showing exactly -10 dB on the meter. And that is the end of the second calibration. Thanks for watching.